Hello, welcome to Games Gone By episode. I don't know what episode it is. This is going to be a new intro for the beginning ones because we never actually made this an intro. If you listen to it, this is just a segment from Blue Rupees. Now he's just gone. I'm Adrian. The one that you see there is Redman. You got David here. No, that's Gore. This is our book club that we do on our podcast, Blue Rupees. We post this about once a month. We're going through our backlog and reposting episodes. It's too late for this right now. We're posting this up as standalone episodes right now, and because we never actually recorded an intro, people are gonna see how happy you are in this intro, and then see you're just like.
That's from Bad Lieutenant. That's the one where he says, "No panties."
All right. This is our video game book club podcast, though. We're gonna put this at the beginning of the first couple episodes. I don't know how many times you might see it. You might see it 1, 2, maybe 3. I don't know how many times actually. We'll see.
Probably 4.
Or 4 or 5, and you're gonna just see that little giggling Gus over there having a good time.
Pictures.
Yeah, you can follow us at Games Gone By, brp@bluerupees.com. You can email us. And honestly, at this point, if you email us about any sort of impressions you have on any game that we played, we love to read them. Just kind of get impressions from the back catalog. Because we do, especially for different seasons, we will go back and look back at the games that we did play.
Hell yeah.
There. Good way to send it off. We love everyone. Enjoy!
Fuck you. There you go.
As Gore's Games Gone By dance.
Yep. Time.
Welcome.
Two times in a row. One of my games. This guy. He likes it.
Welcome to Games Gone By. This is our retrospective book club series. Book club series.
It's a book club.
This week, or this episode, we've been doing a lot lately. This episode's on What Remains of Edith Finch. If you don't know, we plan these about once a month, but sometimes we do some bonus episodes. We've been doing a few lately, so we do have an extra bonus episode coming up next month on the 12th, which we will announce at the end of our next one, which is coming up on February 27th, which is Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Yes.
As requested by David, who wants to just add into this list of critically acclaimed games. And then during that, we will announce the one for March, and then the one at the end of March is going to be Watch Dogs 2. And then we'll go from there, see what we're doing. You know what? I had an idea, though, too, is that we should, at some point, hope maybe on the... What did we start? Did I start in September? I think I started in September.
Yeah, September.
At that point, so at the end of August, we should shuffle the order around. That way, we don't all just land on the same exact months over and over again.
But we
Not a
won't.
bad idea.
Yeah, we should still, right? Don't we, or do we
Well,
not?
We won't.
Well, what month do you land on this month? You land on
You just said
March. You said,
what month you land on this month?
sorry. So yeah. So I did March. Gord did April. David's May. I do
You're right.
June.
You'd be September.
Yeah. So we should
I think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd be July again after April, and then
Yeah,
David
I'd be
would be
June.
August.
August, September. Then you do October again because you did October last time.
Wait, who goes after me?
David.
I
Right?
did,
Yeah. Okay, so you'd be September.
August, then.
Yeah. So on the 1 year anniversary, we will mix up the order. That way we can. That way it's not just Gord doing all the horror games and doing the same things over and over again.
But wouldn't that be not fair for somebody? Wait, that wouldn't be fair for me.
Why?
I just realized because our 1 year is April, and that's my month.
No, we're talking
No,
about
no.
the 1 year of games gone by.
Yeah. So we shuffle again in August.
I thought you meant okay.
Yeah. So we'll do them again in
So wait, then I'm fucked anyway because we started in September. That means we'll do September and then start in October, which is my month. So I'm fucked anyway.
Well,
we would start on my month.
September.
So August, and then I would have gone
I'm
September.
trying to get fucked. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I know that feeling, brother.
Yeah. Oh god.
Anyway, this month is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yes.
This was Gore's pick. Do you want to explain why you picked this?
I picked it last time and I didn't get fucking picked. So
Yeah, so
He's
this
like, I just wanted it at some
I
point.
will say I had another choice, but Adrian picked that one, so I had that
which
was my,
is
my
one of
second.
my favorite moments of the podcast where Gore was bitching at me. I was like, all right, so let's all pick a random number, that way we can pick who picks first. And Gore's like, it doesn't fucking matter, don't bother,
Say it.
you're not gonna pick my game, so fuck it. And then I'm like, brothers, and he goes, oh shit, that's my game.
I didn't say it like
I like how Gore goes. Gore goes, "Oh fuck, are you serious?" No, I'm just kidding. I just picked brothers out of nowhere.
I don't know. I thought you were a dick or something. And just like
It's like mind
say a
read
game
you.
you knew I liked or whatever.
Yeah. So my because this was our community choice that we had. So occasionally we'll put up polls to see what we did. David put up Minute. I put up Brothers, and Gore put up What Remains of Edith Finch, which he put up last time, but this was his plan B because he didn't think he needed a plan B for this one.
It
Um,
won.
and it won.
Look
So
at that
Gore
shit.
got what he wanted. David did not
Oh,
want to
yeah.
do this, but we finally got him to do it.
Yeah, he had an hour and a half to spare. I don't want to hear shit.
So you know, and going back to me knowing David a while, I remember he detested these kind of games for sure before. I mean, I'm sure he hates it, so we'll talk about that. But he specifically detested these games because he used to go off an hour to dollar ratio on games. He was stern on. He was like, if this game is not $1 per hour that I spend, I will hate this game.
That's stupid.
Which eventually he's great.
Well, because that was the biggest. That's just an easy way for my mind to be like, yeah, I got my money's worth, and I get
Mine's
at least an
stupid.
hour of content per dollar.
But obviously he's leaned back a bit on that, and he's not as critical of that because check out our Inside playthrough. That wasn't too bad.
That game was gorgeous. Yeah.
So so because David hates it, he's gonna get critical on it. Me and Gore are gonna kind of talk about it for a little bit, and let's see what we felt like. I played this a long time ago. I kind of just skimmed through it on YouTube, so I'm gonna get refreshed on a lot of things that you guys were saying still. I loved it when it came out, or I played it a little bit after it came out, but I ended up playing on whim, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was an awesome walking simulator, but I loved the way it was produced. I love short stories in general. Short stories are one of my favorite pieces of fiction or genres in general. I love the way it did this, where it was like every little bit was a short story that you kind of just built on, and just kind of all pieced together at the end.
Yep.
But Gore, what did you get out of this right out of the bat?
Oh, well, first of all, I was getting Gone Home vibes immediately.
Yeah.
Because a house by yourself, dark, walking in. I mean, the only thing that like set me at ease is that there's a constant narration from the main character, Edith.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, it's just like the entire game is just like this weird house that immediately you see it in the distance and you're just like, that's like some weird like Lemony Snicket shit.
I did like the walk up to it. I felt like that kind of put things into perspective, you know, because you start on the ship, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Yep,
you
you start on
do,
the ship.
but there's
You start on the ship. If I'm getting, because I skimmed around there. You start on the ship,
Yeah.
and then you kind of walk into the house, which I feel like is not really a thing a lot of the walking simulators do. When you're like Gone Home, you were just like at the front door, walk in. This I kind of like because the house is huge. Like the house is like vast, and the way you kind of navigate around that's pretty cool. But like getting the kind of perspective of walking through the forest, everything's kind of bird, and you kind of look up and see this giant thing, and you're like, all right, let's get to exploring.
Yep. And there's, like I said, this constant narration from your character. We don't know exactly what's going on. Like, I mean, we got a good idea. This house is like her family house, and she hasn't been here in a very long time. And her mother just passed away. She got a key. She needs to know what it opens. And along the way through this house, she finds different. It's very much like Gone Home, actually. I think Gone Home, Gone Home came out way before this. So it's just like she finds hidden passageways, and she learns through the story. I mean, through the house.
For that just now, so we're good. All right, good. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I was pretty much. Yeah. So I really wanted to play it because I really like stories that are, walking simulators, but done.
I love just
and
really quick
interactive
bites.
stories.
Really quick bites of just story. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
especially in the middle of when like we've been doing these big games, playing God of War. I got done with Red Dead last month, so just like kind of just pacing into something small. That's why I've been super into. If you're watching this separately on the podcast earlier that we did, I've been playing a lot of iOS games because it's been nice to kind of dip into something smaller, just because it's hard to balance a bunch of just big games on big games on big games, especially when you have a backlog. So it's nice to kind of get like a little story beat dip into the story for a little bit. An hour and a half. How long do you spend on Encore?
About 2 hours, I'd say.
Yeah, I
Pretty
put
much
in
everything.
about 2 hours as well to
And
100% it.
yeah, and that's like 100%
Yeah.
too. So
I'm almost at 100%. I just need to restart one story
nice.
and do that one. But besides that, yeah.
Let's hear from David.
So I'm not gonna go into my full thoughts yet, because because I don't want people to come into this with the jaded perspective that I have. But
Yeah.
I was not looking forward to this. I hate walking simulators. I don't really care
Why
for
do you
it.
not
and
like them?
It's one of that. It's the kind of disconnect in my brain that it's like when I want to play a game, even if it has a good story, I want to play a game.
Yeah, what was your game of the year last year?
House in Fata Morgana, which is a visual novel.
Which how
Yeah,
many
there's
times?
exceptions to
So
rules.
how many times did you? How many
There's
hours
an
did you put in
exception
there?
when there's anime characters in it. It's okay.
See, I just want to point that out. I'm not even trying to pick on you too hard, but
No, it's fair.
that
It's
mindset
legitimate.
is funny because like House of Fata Morgana was like what 40 some hours, and you just say yeah I played like 6 times in that game.
I played.
Yeah, but no, there's exceptions to the rule. Although I will say, visual novel is something that I am starting to kind of, like I've talked about in earlier podcasts, I'm starting to kind of be less that way a little bit. I think Valhalla is what really kind of kicked that off, because Doki Doki I liked because it had that metafictional layer to it, and it was this really fucking dark story, which is all up in my vibes and jams. And then after playing Valhalla, I was like, all right, that was kind of a cool, relaxing experience, whatever. So that kind of started me descending to loosening up on that a little bit. Still not a big fan of visual novels, but I'm more open to at least trying it. And that's kind of why I was looking forward to, on some capacity, this, in the sense of it's getting me out of my comfort zone. I will say my first few bits of the game was exactly why I hate visual novels. You go through, you have the boat scene. It's like, all right, cool. We're getting into a story, whatever. And I'm like, all right, I got to not be jaded about this. And it's like, all right, cool. Now we're outside somewhere. I guess I'm just going to walk around. Cool. All right. Walk towards the house. Well, that's fucking weird. All right. Moving along. And then you walk in. It's like, all right, things are all dusty and beaten up and yada, yada, yada. Family tragedy, whatever. Look at the thing. It's like, oh, I was never allowed to go in the basement. Huh. I was never allowed to touch that fucking music box next to the basement. I can't imagine why. It's like, well, probably because the fucking key to the basement's in there, I'm going to guess. Moving along, it's like, I really was just not in the mood for it when the game was starting out.
David,
Huh?
have you played Gone Home?
No, I have not.
Okay. I know some walking simulators you'll for sure not like. I know you're not gonna like what's the I just had it tip of my tongue. What's the one that like kind of started all these?
Dear Esther?
Yeah, you're gonna hate
I
Dear Esther.
fucking hated Dear Esther.
Yeah, he played
absolutely.
Dear Esther. You mentioned that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dear Esther, that is
ugh.
strictly walking and narration. And even me, who I like those a lot, Dear Esther didn't really resonate too much with me. It had some cool moments, but I think there's better ones.
Dear Esther and Proteus, I absolutely despised.
Proteus, dude, I've never told this story. It's at least on the podcast. I know I didn't. What was it? It was I think New Year's someday, or it might have been like somewhere around there. I was like sick as all hell. Like I was just up, and I woke up like those times when you get sick, you just wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you just cannot sleep.
Right.
I woke up and I was like, all right, I need to do something. And I bumped up the PS4, and I was like, all right, I'll just play a game. And Proteus popped up, and I'm like, oh, I think that's short, right? I played Proteus, and I played Proteus in like a fever dream, where it was like that 4 a.m. I had a fever, and I was just living that life there for like another hour and a half. I beat that game. I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing about it, but I know I had a good time because I was just like living. That was just I don't know what it was trippy. It was weird. I love the art style of it, but I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing about it.
Never even played it.
It's pretentious as fuck.
I've seen it.
I will give you a heads up. Eventually, on Games Gone By, we will do one walking simulator that resonates so much to me that it's like, it's not gonna be gameplay. I think Gore knows what game it is.
Halo 2.
Yeah, Halo 2.
If you're really good, you only
don't
walk
say
in
it.
it.
Don't say it. Do you know what game I'm talking about though?
Halo 3.
Yeah, that game was a walking simulator with how fucking slow.
Oh, I think I know.
There's one game which was one of my game of the years. fucking loved every second of it. That was a game where I beat that, and it's for fucking days and days and days. I didn't play anything else. I was just thinking about that game. That will be a Games Gone By. It is less gameplay than this, I think, but it's a lot more adaptive to what it is. You're gonna loathe the idea of it, but open-minded, and I think you're gonna actually like it. And that's gonna you'll see where I am, because you and I kind of aligned in like the same sort of like tones and what we like.
Yeah.
You're gonna like this one a lot. I feel like it's got a deeper story. It's got a really cool idea of how it proceeds on it, and it just fucking gut punches you.
I promise I will try to go into everything as open-minded as I can be. It doesn't mean my jadedness won't immediately kick in like it did in the case of this game here, but I will give everything an earnest try.
Yeah.
If it's a game I'm thinking of, I didn't know you played it.
Type it to me on Facebook. Let me see. I'm curious if you know what it is.
HALO.
4.
If you're really good at the walking simulator, never fired that gun once. Fuck out of here.
What game had it where you just, well, besides Undertale, obviously, but like,
No, I know which one it is. I think. Here, I'll just put that.
Let's see. Let me see if a little Gore knows exactly.
Little gore.
Is it that one?
No, actually, I've not played that one.
Oh, is it? I think I know another one, except I can't remember
Doom.
the title. Yeah, Doom.
Yeah, you want me to tell you?
Sure.
Because you'll know exactly what it is. And I'm not sure.
Is it? I think I know. Yeah. Okay.
Have you played that one?
That's not the one I was thinking of, but I do remember.
Have you played it?
About that? No, but to be fair, you
alright.
did have it as a thing before.
Okay, so let's not talk about it. But I will say it will be for sure one of mine coming up. I don't know when, probably during the holidays if we have too much stuff, maybe during a bonus episode, because I think we could fit some of these smaller ones in there. We'll see. Depends on how everything goes. But yeah, I think this one was a weird one because I know was one of your parts of it was one of your parts of it that it was a little bit too pretentious?
That was my complaint with Proteus, was I couldn't stand the pretension in that game.
Okay.
But this, how do you Finch?
I didn't think it was pretentious. No, I think that it came off very obvious in the beginning, and like I said, the very first thing, it's like, I was never allowed near the basement. I wasn't allowed to touch the music box. I don't know why. Well, considering it's right next to the fucking basement, probably.
Sure, but what's revealed in the basement, I would have never guessed, really. Like, I get that.
Yeah, I didn't guess that at all. There's no way in hell I would have ever guessed that.
But also, she was a kid, too, so I was just like, I don't know. She's still technically a kid in this. And she's like, what, 17 in this game? When she says stuff. It didn't bother me, like, when she's, like, obviously narrating to us. It's just like, I never was allowed in there. Oh, that's weird. And she finds out there's some weird shit in there. Oh.
And I feel like stuff like this you'll eventually come around to, even if you didn't like it, just because it's still among the walking simulators one's more the critically acclaimed one, because it's kind of it's doing more than Dear Esther. Dear Esther's done it was like bare bones, but it was also I can't criticize too much because it was like the groundwork for all these walking simulators. But more and more get more kind of gameplay stuff as they go on.
Yeah.
But I like to think about it.
I think it did the gameplay pretty well.
The way I like to think about it in terms of what you like with visual novels is while you're reading everything, walking simulators, the cool thing about it is you're kind of, and this is kind of a meme thing that Gore and I know, you kind of build your own story with it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, everyone. That's the best story because that's your story. Oh, you pulling weeds and talking to a cow? Wow, that's your story.
But especially
beat the fucking cow with a net till they move out. Yeah, it's great.
Especially in Edith Finch, oh fuck! I just forgot to mention. I played Donut County.
Shut up.
I liked it. I actually liked it a lot.
We're talking about Edith Finch. Get that.
I just thought about holes because he said cow.
We're not even in the podcast anymore.
Yeah, he mentioned cow. We'll talk about it next week.
Play the Super Raccoon game, whatever.
We'll talk about it next week. I'll make that note.
Or
I
whatever
knew I was missing something too.
Yeah, it was a raccoon.
It was a raccoon. Yeah.
How do you not know that was like a major part of the story? Anyway, so
what do you mean?
We'll talk about it next week.
I don't care what the fucking guy skipped all the fucking dialogue.
Why?
Because it was terrible.
I actually thought it was
last week. You don't listen.
No, I know, but I
it wasn't funny, and it was wasting my time. And I wanted to play the game, not listen to a couple of terribly character modeled dumbasses make dumb jokes.
I thought it was cute.
I thought it
We'll
was
talk about it
annoying.
more next week. We'll talk shit. But no,
I
so
already
it's
talked.
it's kind of like you kind of build your own thing where you can, especially what remains of Edith Finch. It has a lot of things like in every room that you can miss.
Yeah.
If you're going objective, trying to beat the game, you're gonna miss every small little thing that you see.
Yeah, the visual storytelling is amazing in this because there's things I'm just like, why the hell is this like the guardrail of this up like the stairs broken? Like I noticed that like, and I'm like, oh, okay. And
Yeah,
then you
so
find out
Like when
why.
you go to the twins' bedroom and there's like all the aeronautics before you actually get into the story for it, and that's like,
In the twins' room, you see like they do the thing where they keep cutting lines into the door to see how much they grew, and then you see one
Yeah.
of them stops at like age whatever. And you're like, and then you find out why. I mean, to be fair, you could pause the menu and find out why. That's one thing I have a negative is that they show it in the pause menu, like every like age, this person died then or whatever, which
Yeah.
that kind of ruined it because I pause and immediately I'm like, oh, okay, sorry, no, like I wish,
but
wish
but
I. Not that it
but
was a
going
surprise.
into it, that's kind of where you're building your own thing. The more you put into walking simulators, the more you'll get out of it. I know you put enough because you still 100% the game, so that's still a good amount to spend there. But I just think that there's a lot of really cool things that you miss if you just want to go objective in those games. Um, with that said, so continue. So how did you feel going through it? Like eventually.
So my thought process, like I said, I was already kind of pissed off with that, and then I got to the first room there when, oh fuck, what was even the first room? Was it the girl that had the eating problem
Molly,
there?
yeah, Molly,
Yeah, Molly.
the little
Yeah.
girl.
I went through that, and then I was like, okay, we're getting into some metaphor storytelling here. You're a fucking cat. You're a fucking thing. Girl had a hyperactive imagination. The owl part pissed me the fuck off for that achievement because
Catching
I was
the
Yeah,
rabbits.
that's
Yeah.
the one I'm missing.
because I initially did this thing where it's like, all right, let me figure out my controls here, and then I figure out my controls. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'll go swoop in. It's like perfect. Did it 2 in a row. Oh, like as in the first time I do it. Period.
Oh, it's a. Oh.
But yeah, no. After that, I was like, all right, whatever. That's sad. And then moved on to the next one, which, if I remember correctly, the next one after that then was the horror girl,
Was it?
or was it the twins after that?
No, I think you're right. I think it was the
Yeah,
horror
horror
girl.
girl.
I think.
And that one was kind of neat just because it did have a change up, which is one thing that I'll give the game credit for. I liked that every segment changed it up in every way, between the gameplay elements that were involved with it and in the presentation, because it went to that kind of old comic book, almost creep show style.
It was a Penny Dreadful thing or whatever.
Yeah, like I like that in the presentation. I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. It's all right. Well, she got killed potentially by her boyfriend. It looks like is what actually happened, and it was like, all right. Well, I'm still not really getting hooked into it, but it was a neat presentation. And then after I think that was the twins from there.
Yeah, it was Calvin, the woman.
Yeah, and then going through the swing thing, the second you start swinging, it's like, oh, I know what's going to happen here. And then as soon as the swing keeps going up,
they tell you before it even happens. What?
I don't think
he really wanted to go around the tree branch, and while you're doing it, they said,
that's like
this
after
is the time he said he's going to
like,
do it, and then he starts doing it. It's
they mentioned it
supposed
after
to be a
you start to
surprise.
peek over it.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be a surprise, I don't think. I mean, all these characters are dead. Like, it's not.
Well,
you see them
obviously,
on streets, you meet on a cliff.
Except one.
But the point is, it's like it didn't have like any of the build up, like the one with the two before. There was like some kind of build up and momentum going to what ultimately happened to them. Whereas this one was just kind of immediately, I'm swinging. Oh, okay, you're going for a ride. Got it.
I think it was more emotional because you have the little brother Sam, or older brother, I think actually.
The older brother.
Yeah, it just taught like he was like, yep, he wasn't gonna let anybody tell him he wasn't gonna do it. Like he's not gonna be afraid anymore after what's his name died and whatever, and just when Barbara died.
But yeah, so I'll let you guys get to it. But by this point, I still was just like, I guess there's some kind of neat visual elements to this, but So let's go into a more happier note here with you guys, because I know this is more your jam.
Less, I
Right.
mean, less happy. The story's all tragic in general.
Yeah, it's all tried to the end
Well,
where I'm just like,
in,
well, okay,
happy
she's the
in terms
last.
of talking
She's
from
the
people
last
that
Finch.
had
Everything's gonna be
more
okay.
enjoyment from
There
it.
you go.
I don't know about enjoyment either, but like I think that's the wrong word, especially at the end. It's just like, oh, well, at least she's the last one. She can oh, it's like, oh. It's a tragic. The entire thing is tragic, and this whole family is just like. At that point, I just changed my last name. Be like, hopefully that'll be okay, because this whole family is just fucked.
I do like that you can kind of catch the twist by looking down.
Sure.
It never really brings it up
Yeah,
until
with
you
the
actually.
belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is a twist, but I still wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, okay, maybe she'll be like her mother, where her mother didn't die until she was older. I didn't think it was gonna be like. And then thinking about it, I was just like, she's probably gonna die during childbirth, and yeah, which that sequence was.
It was just a cool story to glimpse into. Just it felt almost like in hindsight now thinking about it, like Hereditary. It felt like where it's just a family that just has just a bunch of fucked up things just happen to them. And
Sure.
it's like nothing
Yeah.
ever works out for them, and it just sucks. And yeah, the whole story is based off the premise of Edith going back and just wondering, is this gonna be my life? Is this where I'm going to? And her just kind of hoping not to, and you kind of hope that everything changes, but it doesn't really give you that resolution. You just kind of go with
Yeah,
it.
she at it seems like the way she's writing it while she's going through it, you can tell she knows she's gonna die. Like
Right. It's
even
not an
at
impending
a certain
idea.
point, she's just like, I wish I could be there for you, but at least I'm writing this, which I thought was even more tragic. Like knowing these like separate characters is tragic, but just knowing she's the last one and then she dies, and then you realize what the title is actually saying when it says "What Remains of Edith Finch."
Which I'll admit, I didn't fucking catch on to that until that scene
Sure.
happened. That's one of those moments where I'll catch on to something like the music box, but I won't get something as obvious to the title until it's like, oh.
I didn't even think about
gotcha.
like the first scene where you see the child with the cast on and he has the book. I didn't even think about that. I don't even know why. I looked at that. I was just like, I don't know. And then you realize it's a kid at the end. And I was like, oh yeah. But there was so much emotionally happening throughout the entire story, for me at least, that I forgot about the beginning scene where you're obviously not Edith.
I love when any stories do that, where it's like gives you the ending, but it just engrosses you so much into the main story that you just completely forget about that. I think if a movie does something well, or if a game or anything does something well, if it's like, hey, here's the ending, all right,
Yeah.
you're gonna forget about it now, and then that way it brings it all back. It's so good.
One thing I want to commend it is the way they tell each of the stories, because the stories themselves are snippets. Some of them lasting maybe 2 minutes, some of them lasting a little bit longer. Obviously, it's not like an hour and a half, 2 hour game. So there's a bunch of little stories to tell you about the timeline of this family and what happened, what bad things happened to each one. But I love the way they tell each of the stories. Some of them they just use the in-game graphics, and some magical, like whimsical stuff happens, even though it ends in them dying. Some of it's like, oh, like we said with Molly, she turns into a cat trying to go after a bird because she's really hungry. And then she turns into a hawk. I mean, not a hawk, an owl. And then a shark. It's just like little things like that. The shark falling down the hill made me laugh though, because it's just like it looked like something you see in like what's that one game that like the battle simulator thing, it's just some
simulator.
It was kind of goofy.
Goofy looking.
I like the baby in the bath one.
Yeah, that one's rough because it's like a baby drowning in a tub, but they managed to make it.
Everything was
fun?
artful in here, which was.
I don't know how they made that sequence fun. Just by what's going to happen, and you're playing it out. You have a part in it happening too.
Well, since we're getting to all these kind of comments here, then let me kind of hop in with the rest of my thoughts real quick. Because that baby one was fucked.
And that's like David's like, yeah, fucked up shit.
Hell yeah. Well, no. So going through the rest of the stories just real quick. You had the great grandfather there, and they kind of explained the whole lineage of the family. It's like, whatever. You had the kid with the kite,
Odin,
and
it's from Norway
Odin.
too, so that's perfect. That's like a Tom name in Norway. So,
and then you had the kid with the kite, and it's like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. And then the basement story is where I actually started to turn around on the game. Going through that and just kind of this recluse, sad, alone in the basement, afraid of the world. It's like, all right.
That was maybe the briefest one because you don't really do much.
What was the name of that one?
Milton.
You guys know about the Easter egg?
No, sorry, Walter.
Yeah.
Which one's Milton?
Milton is the kid that disappears.
You guys know the Easter egg with that?
Yeah, Unfinished Swan, right? Because they made that game.
You know about that?
No.
So they made Unfinished Swan, and you see some of the art from Unfinished Swan in there, and they confirm that that's canon and that the actual character in Unfinished Swan.
The character disappeared into the Unfinished Swan.
And
I don't know if I like that though, as like actual. Like, as an Easter egg, that's fine. I like that. But as an actual, like, canonical ending for that character, I don't like that. Because this game has managed to stay... I mean, it's whimsical, sure, but it's telling stories, you know? But to say that that character really disappeared, went into a magical doorway, and now is in the Unfinished Swan world... I don't know.
It kind of... Yeah, and I'm reading an article on it right now, and how it does kind of... It kind of takes it into, like, a less realistic one, but... It does also, yeah, it is, as the article saying, like, it confirms they have a mystical elements that influence the lives. But I mean, like, I kind of, I'm okay with that too, just because, like, the way every death was so whimsical, the way it was posted.
Sure,
I like the idea that, like, hey, one of this actually is, like, it really did happen this way.
I don't know if I like that. I just like the idea that he just disappeared. Kids disappear all the time, sadly, but it's just like... Yeah, and some of them aren't ever found again. It's just like I thought that was way more tragic than any of the other ones because you don't know what actually happened. Huh?
Have you played Unfinished One?
No, I'm sure it's amazing.
Well, I haven't either, but I might want to play it just now.
I heard it was like one of those games that was like really hyped. Like, oh, it looks really good, and then it came out. I was just like, eh. It was like a 7. I heard.
I kind of want to play
this one definitely is what. Huh?
I really want to play it with the context of this, like knowing that he's from this family.
I don't know if he's the main character. He might be. I don't know. Or he's just like a character you come with it. Yeah, but yeah, I that's the only one I don't like. I like the story, the little flip book.
Oh yeah, he's not the protagonist, by the way.
He's not. Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, I like all the way they tell the stories. I really like the flip book. Like that was really quick. But just the little flip book thing that he made, where he like goes into the wall or whatever. I don't want that to be his definitive way he disappeared, obviously. But I like that he made that. He's just like, okay. And then you go downstairs again, or you go down the rope again. Then you see the door with the big hole in it. Not a hole, but it's like a painted hole. So you're like, okay, that's cute. I mean, I don't want that to be how he actually disappeared, but I like how they tell each story. I like the art style of a lot of them too, where some of them use the in-game graphics, you know, with the swing set and the hunting one, but they tell it in different ways. The hunting one was really good. That was Sam's demise. I don't know if we're going to explain what each character is in the timeline or whatever.
You want it with it. We don't have to go through everything, but
we might have to, like, maybe at some point.
I'll pull up
I have a picture of just the whole tree, the family tree. So we could, but right now I'll just say Sam. Sam, like just the way they tell that story, where it goes all through like the camera. And whenever they take a snapshot, it goes to a different scene, or you know, like that's when they pull the trigger or whatever and kill like the deer or whatever. I really like that. Of course, the creep show one we talked about, what's it called? Little comic thing or whatever to show how Barbara died was really good. Of course, the bathtub with the kid, the baby.
That was the one that ultimately really actually started to pull me into it, because that was one where I was actually sitting there like, oh god, I don't want this to go the direction it's going. And throughout the whole thing, it's like very cute, very whimsical, and the narration almost kind of has like this, oh man, just I wish I could see the world through his eyes, and it just has that emotional just dagger in the heart of just knowing and wanting that drowning, one of the most painful and worst ways you can go, just hoping that that little kid could just see wonder in everything, and seeing that wonder played out through the eyes of the child as he's fucking drowning. That one fucking got me. And then that fucking hit. And
then I think the Walter one's right before that though. But the Walter one really was just like 30 years he was down there after seeing his sister, because Walter's the kid in the barber one. Obviously, he's under the bed. And obviously, something happened, and it just like really fucked with him so much that he just stayed as a hermit underneath the house. And Edie just took care of him because that was his mother. Which, by the way, Edie, we need to talk about because she's a character. But Walter, yeah. So the Walter one is the one that I think that's the first one that really got me. Because all the other ones were great, I thought the Molly one was great. I thought Barbara one, I liked the art style. Calvin one was good just because of how sad it was that the brother's writing about it. And then you hear that the Sam, he didn't ever want to go back to the room after he left for the military. He never came back. He never wanted to see it again. Yeah.
I got this playing. We don't necessarily have to narrate over this, but for the extra segment of the podcast we can look at. But continue.
Okay, is this going to be in the podcast or?
Yeah, it'll be in the corner.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to. So yeah, this one's really good. Just like also those peaches look good. I don't know why.
I will say.
Sorry, go ahead, David. I want you to say your thing first.
Because I will say, I think the choice in how they kind of went about the stories was a very good idea because it definitely felt like they saved the best for last as they were kind of building up and going through because Walter and then into the baby and then Milton after that. Milton I thought was kind of sad. And then I'll admit the part where, because, the baby really got me, Walter really got me. But then the part where I could honestly say I get this game was the other brother that worked in the
one
fish
that
factory.
committed suicide.
Yeah,
which one?
Playing.
That's Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Whew. That one. That's one of the last stories too. But
yes. That's where I can honestly say my opinion of the game truly changed. Playing through that segment, cutting the fish heads, I actually found myself compulsively, as you're supposed to, with that character, just going through and cutting as everything else is going on with the story. No matter what happened, I kept doing it. And that story just in and of itself, unlike the others which have these other kind of quasi-fantastical elements and these elements of, oh yeah, that's tragic, maybe some people could relate to them. Lewis had a story that is a lot more immediately identifiable with people, that just concept of just going through the motions in life, not really having a purpose, wanting more, feeling like you should be able to achieve more, but just never doing it. Especially where there was a major point in my life where I was kind of in that situation, not to that same effect obviously, but that was the point where the game officially had me. And then playing that and then going into what happened with Edith after, I'll admit by the end of the game someone slapped tears in my eyes.
What the fuck?
I feel like he was talking shit about this game,
He was.
Did I predict that by the end of this review he would be saying like, "Oh, I like the game" or something?
I said that on either like one of the prior podcasts. I was like, "Watch, you gonna talk shit by the end of the conversation." Yeah, it was a pretty good game.
I liked it.
You cannot say a game was bad if you got teary-eyed at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a bad game at all. I actually. This was definitely a game I was not expecting to have the emotional hit that it did. I was not expecting to like it. Like I said, my very first impressions of the game were my very kind of normal jaded self. And as soon as Walter hit and everything else, it was softening, it was hitting the emotions. And then once it hit Lewis's story, that's where it's like, no, this game's fucking great. Absolutely. Any game that can make you feel compulsively wanting, or just not even like wanting to, it's just, you're just finding yourself enacting the actions of going through and cutting those fish. Because I did the whole time, not even really being conscious of the fact that I was still doing it, but just seeing the fish still being cut throughout the whole narration of the story up until what ends up happening. That fucking game had me at that point entirely. And damn, I fucking cried a little bit at the end.
It has so many, and I'll put the volume on, but just kind of low so we can kind of just barely hear it. I do like that no matter how much deaths they have and the way they do it, they were all very elegant in the way they proceeded, which is it's a very hard line to walk, because then if you cover so many deaths, at some point you're gonna hit someone that this actually affects. That one that, oh, this one they might have had a family issue with or
Yeah.
something like that. But they were all very elegant and artful in the way they would do it too.
Yeah.
To the point
Almost
where,
all of them were just like them at a point where they felt like they were really coming into, I don't know, like the Walter one. Him like, I just want to
Yeah.
go outside, and he finally goes outside, and no. But like, there's a lot of kids like him, obviously. Lewis here, he's just like, he's finally kind of like gotten to the point where he's lost in his own mind, but he's happy. There's a lot of characters that are just like at the final point. Even the kid swinging on the swing set, he's just like, he always wanted to fly, he always wanted to go around the thing, and there's a lot of characters that felt like they were stuck and just kind of came into their own, or are happy with themselves right at the end. Maybe the only one that wasn't like that was Barbara. Like Barbara. Well, it's not confirmed what happened to her, but it seems like it was her boyfriend. They probably got a little too, like, they were yelling at each other or whatever, and it seemed like maybe he pushed her off the stairs. That's why the stairs were broken.
Yeah.
And she probably like fell and broke her neck or something. But a lot of the characters were like at their either happiest or whatever. Even the baby was happy. It seems like.
Yeah, there was always that kind of thought of like it was a bittersweet kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really, until Lewis was just absolutely just broken.
Yeah, he was broken, but he was still happy at that moment. Like at this point, he himself he was happy in his mind. Even the psychiatrist is talking about that. It's just like he kind of just like got to a point where he got, well, yeah. This scene, this scene's like, ooh, exactly what happened too, and you're just like, God.
yeah, you're going through it, but it isn't ham-fisted to you. It's like you're gonna proceed with it and you're gonna know what it is, but we're gonna still tell it the way you want it to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, each story ended perfectly in my eyes. Like the one that kind of ended in a way that's just like, ooh, like that really sucks was the Molly one. I mean, this one sucked too. Don't get me wrong, but at least there was like a lot of happiness going to it. Like he's like, hey, in his own mind, he's like, eh. But Molly is just like she was in dread all the way to the end. She just ate a bunch of bad stuff and she died. It's like, 2 days later, that one was really crappy. But yeah, right here. It was like, yep. Yeah, give me that crown, girl. Everything's fine. Eesh. Yeah, I like how this ends, too, right? Where she says this. We've been missed by all day. Yeah.
You got an ad coming up, so I'm gonna pause there.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, add in 1 sec. What a great place to put an ad. Who's the dickhead that put this thing up? Right? What a dick! Right at the dramatic height. It's like, I want a Wendy's ad to pop up.
Can you imagine if movie theaters were the same as YouTube ads?
Oh, Jesus!
Like, oh, I don't know. I can't spoil anything. Oh, this person died. It's just like, and then you see a Chili's ad, and like, thanks a lot.
I'd cut gems at the very end.
Yeah, Uncut Gems right at the end, and then I don't know, that stupid ass Geico commercial with the puppet.
What was your favorite Oscar commercial?
Oh, the one where they're all like running through the windows chasing after the car. Ugh, I hate that. Ugh.
I love when you're like, don't watch it. It's just me complaining, one guy not talking, the other guy just kind of muting his mic and talking like every once in a while.
Yeah, that was it. I'm not wrong.
Don't need to watch that next year.
Yeah. Oh, I'm watching it next year. I mean, I watch Oscars every year.
Yeah, I need to see.
At this point, it's a tradition. I watched it since I was like 9. So it's like,
hate my life for 3 hours every year since I was 9.
Yeah.
So let me bump this back here. Actually, let's watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, it's only a minute. I got a minute.
I'm sure my mom was just trying to protect me.
You coupon?
Now that there's only one of us left, I thought it was time I heard the stories. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
That trailer didn't spoil a damn thing.
No.
Even to the point where it doesn't even explain that all the characters are dead already. Like to the point where they show Milton, and it's like the one plaque that doesn't say from this from this year to this year. When they died. Yeah, Milton didn't die technically. So, they did. He did obviously, but the mom didn't want to see. They showed the one that said like they didn't die. So that was actually really well done. That was a good trailer.
I will say that, and I posted this like maybe a week ago, but Annapurna is such a good publisher. They pick out some really good.
They're not doing very well too, which sucks.
It sucks, but they're picking out some heavy hitters. They just put out Kentucky Route Zero, TV edition, with Tom, Sayonara Wild Hearts, a bunch of really good stuff.
Sayonara Wild Hearts, I heard did pretty well.
Yeah. Which is good because Simogo needs one of those hits because I don't think their last one did so well.
Yeah.
Good for Annapurna though because I hope they stick around. They're really good, and obviously, whenever I say publisher, I hope people know that I also mean developer as well. Obviously, the publishers aren't the ones that are actually creating the games, but I do like that. I want to give props to the people that are helping bring the games out too because that's still a big part.
Yeah, of course.
Super awesome though. I'm glad David turned around to it.
I was not expecting to get pulled into this the way I did, but there are very few games that slapped a tear in my eye, and this is one of the few.
Teary-eyed right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. Honestly, as soon as the trailer was going through and it had the scene from the kid in there, I was like, shit, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Memories coming back. But no, absolutely beautiful game. Definitely, like I said, they knew what they were doing. They were very concise with the stories, and definitely the weaker stories were in the beginning. But the flow once they hit Walter and Up, everything was just back to back.
Which
and
I feel it's smart intentionally to keep a weak story at the front. You don't want to heavy hit someone right away. If they had something like one of the
but what I think they did a great job is easing us into this more like whimsical fantasy stuff too.
Yeah.
Because when you're like eating all this stuff, you're like, this is a little weird. And then she opens the window and immediately you think, oh, this is how she dies. She falls out a window, which, okay. But she doesn't, obviously. She turns into a cat. And you're like, she was just like, I turned into a cat. I'm like, what?
Fucking what, mate?
But I think that's not like that. Obviously, it's not intentional to write a weak story, but I feel like it's smart to put a less critical story at the front.
Yeah.
Because you don't. If you started off with something like Walter at the beginning, you're not gonna fucking want to deal with it right away.
Start off with Lewis in the beginning. That'd be
God,
too much.
yeah.
You need to build it up too, because you getting to even small amounts of knowing some of these characters. Like that are really pertinent because not that Molly is not pertinent, but she was like Edith never met Molly ever, so she's not really pertinent in her lifetime. But like Lewis, of course, was her brother. So was Milton was her brother. So like putting those two at the end along with her mother and her obviously, it just made the most sense. That's her. They're still her family, Molly and all of them.
Yeah,
but this is like. The family.
Those are the ones that had the most impact in her direct life.
Yeah, exactly. So it made more sense that way, and kind of put all the ones she never met in the beginning, and build it up to like why these characters are here, I guess, really, and who the family that she never met was. I thought it was pretty effective and very well done. But man, so I don't think the only story I would say is the weakest. I like how you play it out. I think it's the weakest one is the Gus one. I like how you play it out with the kite. That's the kite one.
Right.
Yeah. Where you highlight over the words and then whatever. I like how it plays. I feel like that's the one where it's just like I didn't get
kid gets fucking blown away.
Yeah, the kid like I don't know, and it was like maybe the most over the top when it comes visually. I think. Like the other ones are over the top because you're a shark now or you're a monster now, but this one's just like look all the shit in the screen. Look at that! Wow, it was like the one that they were trying to show like their engine more than tell a story. It was like look at all this crazy stuff in there. It was impressive considering that game chugged. Let me just say, sometimes on Xbox One, I play on Xbox One X, and when you're not in the house, the game chugs at times.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, which is. Yeah, that's a small
studio. Team going from Unfinished Swan to this, which I always like seeing a team that just changes everything they're doing and Annie up a bit.
Yeah, and it really didn't bother me because it was just that was more slow stuff anyway. That wasn't like when the kite scene happened and there's a bunch of stuff in the air. It didn't chug at all for me
Was
because
that
they knew
earlier or
that was
later?
where they had to really like focus on. Wait, was that
Was it
second?
earlier in the game or later?
That was like middle, I would say.
Okay, so that's a good spot for it too. I think.
Maybe a little bit past the middle.
Um, yeah, no, for a 2-hour game to complete it all, it's such a smartly well done story that even some
Yeah.
movies can't get their story out in that time. And this game's like, hey, let's get it all done, bang bang, and you're done. And it's
And
tragic all the way through.
I think it works perfectly as interactive. I think it probably can only be interactive.
Yeah, no,
But I'd still love to see a mini series of something like this. Even though I say that, I would still love to see something, not maybe of Edith Finch, but something similar, where we get to know these characters a little bit more, and then we see their demise. Because I think it's a great premise, just having a character learn about her really messed up lineage, I guess,
but
and just
I like so the way you phrase that. Every single time, if anyone phrases it anywhere, it's like, hey, you learn about family. A girl learns about her fucked up family. It's
yeah.
always
I don't mean messed up family as in
right. No,
like them as people.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is that every time you think of that, and every time
Some of
someone
them
says it,
messed up.
it always like comes off as like, oh, like there's some dirty secret in this family or something. But it's like, no, it's a fucked up family. Is it like they just have like they're just cursed, like they're just demised. They're just destined to live a life where they just do not have good luck.
No.
And I like that that's the story. It's not a fucked up family where there's some secret shit, someone's fucking heinous, like destroying everything or some dirty things going. This is just a bad curse.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, to the point where there's only one left, like at the end, and
Hopefully
like,
they don't reproduce.
oh yeah, just should end it there. It's just like
Just let the
if I was
curse die.
that kid at the end, I'd be just like, I'm celibate. It's
Hmm.
done. Wait, celibate for sex, or is that for drinking?
that's for sex.
I don't know what that means. That's why.
Pure.
You should know you're an incel.
Yeah, I'm an incel. Oh, that's what the cell means. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought incel was a funny word.
So we're gonna thunk today.
All right, we're not gonna ruin this talk with this nonsense.
Yeah, well, he said incel. I just said celibate. Yeah. What's the one for drinking?
Sober.
No,
Sobriety.
Straight edge.
when you sobriety. There you go. That's it, right? Sobriety. That's what I was thinking. Anyway, all right. So yeah, no, I think every story was great. The only one I'd say is the weakest story wise was probably Gus, just because they're having a wedding and the kid's just like flying a freaking kite everywhere like a jackass. And of course, me being me, I was immediately like, can I fly the kite right into everybody? So
Yeah, I did this. I tried to do the same thing.
and you can't, but I kept trying, so it kind of almost ruined the story. I ruined it for myself. But if you're gonna make it so that you fly a kite around with a bunch of people around, you better know I'm gonna fucking try to slam it. Into
Like
it.
honestly, in a family that's cursed like that too, why the fuck did no one go? Oh yeah, we should probably make sure everyone gets inside.
You could say the same thing about Calvin. I know Calvin's early in the timeline, but why in the fuck would you build a swing set where it's like literally like 2 feet away from a giant cliff, like on a shitty little branch, with this crappy ass picket fence right in front. Like what is that fence gonna protect? It's a swing set. He did exactly. He's 11. He had a broken leg too, and he still managed to fly right off that fucking cliff. Who built it?
An asshole.
Oh, I want to know.
It was Odin.
Sven, that
When you
fucking
said that,
dragon building idiot.
I imagine it's the Snoop Dogg gif. Ooh.
Who? But it's just like that. That was probably the dumbest one. It's just like this kid. You know, I bet that kid was thinking that too. It was like, hey, if they're gonna be fucking stupid, I'm out. It's like, and he just flew out of there. I'm out. Peace. But yeah, all the other ones was just like little mistakes.
But still, I liked it. Like even if you want to take the
oh, that
logic
didn't
out
bother
of
me
it,
that much really while playing it. It's like thinking about it, I'm just like, who the fuck like build it like in that forest area outside of the house, the one you
it's
walk
like
through.
a bear gets you, so fuck it. It's a little less.
A bear. You have more of a chance of falling off that cliff, obviously, than a bear killing you out in there.
No, so yeah, no, I agree that the interactivity of this does help. Like what David said with the I think some stuff like the Lewis one where you just get more and more like kind of like
You're doing exactly
so
what
aware
he's
of
what do
doing.
you call it?
yeah.
Where you're
You're doing
autopiloting.
exactly what
You're
he's doing,
pulling
where
up
he's like
really,
multitasking.
You're autopiloting. You're just
Yeah.
doing the motions, doing it, and that plays off more than if you would saw it just visually without any input.
Yeah.
I think this is an adaptable story though. I think there's a lot here that
Yeah.
totally could work. You'd have to
I
adjust
would
some
love a
things.
movie. Dude, I immediately imagine a movie or a show at the
I
end
would
when
say a
it tells.
mini-series I think I'd appreciate more
A
than a
miniseries would be awesome because I would love to know more about these characters. But I think what they do great here is that we don't get to know
We're
too much,
in
but
and
we
out.
get to know.
In and
Yeah,
out.
in and
timeline.
out is good. But I could see someone making a miniseries perfect. That's why I said that because this is like perfect miniseries material. Like just every episode's about a character. You know, like maybe like the first 10 minutes is like Edith wanders into this room, looks around a little bit, and then starts reading a story, and the rest of the episode's their demise, pretty much. I can even see like a 30-minute show, like 30 minutes each episode. You know, just quick. That could work.
The problem
But
is a lot of networks would not want that, so that'd be a Netflix show. for
Netflix.
sure.
It would be a Netflix
Yeah.
show. Come on, Netflix has like 5 million shows we don't even know about. Like, did you know there's a new Inspector Gadget show?
What?
What?
I found that out like a week ago.
Is it out right now, or
Why?
is it coming out?
No, it's a CG animated. It looks terrible. It looks.
Are we gonna watch it
horrible.
for Christmas?
Inspector Gadget?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it for Christmas.
I don't want it. It looks really
All right.
bad.
Any
It might
other
not even be that new at this point. It's
Any
just like I
other-
just heard about it. I was like, what?
tidbits we want about this before we dip out?
I love all the stories. I think they're great. The ending got me. And I'll say that some of the visuals were beautiful and very imaginative. The chugging here and there was a problem, but it wasn't that big of a deal, really. Especially when it ran perfectly fine during when it really needed to run well, and that was in like all the stories. And the writing's great. I really like the text layout too. We should mention that. Like that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
where
the
text
way it'll like.
pops up.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I like the Walter one is the one that I thought really worked very well because when
Yes.
Walter's like, trying to break through the ground, you see like the text move away, like you're hitting it with a sledgehammer or whatever. That was really good. And yeah, I think it was a masterpiece. I loved it. Everything about it. I'll play it again too, even though I don't really need to because at this point I'll probably watch about 5 million videos about it.
Yeah.
So
This is always a fun
and
part. I like seeing reactions.
Edie, she lasted the longest, and I think that was the problem. She was kind of evil, if you think about it. Because at the end of the movie, sorry, I'm already thinking about it being a movie. At the end of the game, even like the mother Dawn is talking about like, hey, these stories are the reason why my children are dead. Just having the stories exist and being told is the reason why. That's what she was pretty much saying. Put fear in people's and whatever. It's a little vague why the stories really got people killed, but that's what she said. And
I
in a way, like Edie is the one that even like she built a cemetery before she even built the house or whatever. It's just little things like.
I think that's what the
I'm
trailer
gonna have to
said.
watch some videos about it because
It's like what the trailer just said. Is that they tricked themselves into having his family curse. Granted,
I think Edie's the one that started the family curse.
Right, but this goes against what you were actually enjoying about that unfinished Swan thing, where it kind of brings an outside element into the mix and
No. I'm not saying there's actually a curse. I'm saying because Edie thought there was a curse.
No, I know that's exactly what I'm saying. But I'm saying that might be why you don't like the unfinished Swan Easter egg being that, because that means that there's some outside factor that's actually affecting something, as opposed to this being a family that's just so in their own head. It's like, when you think you're gonna fail so much, you're I'm gonna fucking fail, I'm gonna do this, and then you end up failing because you just put it in your head so much.
Exactly.
That's kind of
you
what
think there's a curse, so you're just
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna go try anything. I'm gonna stay here, and then because you stayed in this dumbass like Pee Wee Herman looking fucking house, like something Pee Wee Herman would make, you just like you die, like you fly off a cliff,
Yeah, you live your
or
life
you
just
die
so
building a dragon slide.
Yeah, you live your life so just enveloped in this curse that you just like, oh well, that's how I'm gonna die, so fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Even like Sam, that deer's dead, honey. Let's get on this rock where if I even stumble a little bit, I'll fall to my death. It's just like, all right. And then Dawn had to watch her own father. Dawn, after losing both her brothers, had to watch her own father fall off a cliff and die.
Whew.
Yeah, I know. See, it's fucked up.
And again,
This-
it's funny because it sounds like
and then our main character is going through it at the end, where you think maybe we'll get a little bit like, oh, she's away from this house and shit. Not that it's like a haunted fucking house or anything. I'm just saying, like they'll be off on their own thing. She dies before she even gets to see her son. Have a happy 2020, everyone.
I'm glad
You'll
we did.
die.
I'm glad we didn't know the actual ending of her or what happened to her. I'm glad that was.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming she died during childbirth.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay, is that what was? Oh yeah, right, huh?
Because the baby comes out and then she goes or whatever. She makes it kind of like that. So I just assumed she died during. And also the date on the tombstone said 2017, which was I think she was supposed to be 17 in the beginning of the game.
Yep.
And at the end, it said she was like a month away from turning 18. So.
Yeah, I fucked up that. Yeah, you're right.
But the kid was like, he looked like he was like 8, so he's fine. He's fine for
child.
now, at least. So just 10 more years, and if he wants to continue the legacy, go ahead. Or even earlier, I guess. Edith was 17. She didn't care. But there you go. Great game.
Hey, and it's funny because when we describe all this heinous shit going, it's paced out so well though, and it's so tidbit that it does not grate on you. Like it's fucked up, but you just keep going, and it's not like that. Like
I implore everybody to look at each room though. I want everybody to just don't go to the dot right there.
To be fair,
and to be honest, I wish the dot didn't exist. You know, a little dot to tell you where to go next. I wish it would disappear once you got right up in its face. So you have to actually explore the room.
I also implore anyone that's still watching this that has not played the game to stop and go play the game.
Yeah. Well, I'm more talking to the people that have already played the game that maybe want to go and play it again and then notice little things,
right?
Like in the Sam and Calvin room, you know, just like the little like etchings that they make while they're getting higher on the wall. You see like one of them stops because he died. Just little things like that. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of. It's funny when I talk to people that watch movies that aren't necessarily like as into the ideas of movies that we are. Like, for example, and I keep going. Like my coworker watched Uncut Gems. A couple of us did, and we were talking about it. And just one of us was like, "No, I just didn't like it. Just not my kind of movie." And we were talking, me and the other one, we're like, "Oh, we were super into it." But he's like, "Yeah, just not like that." It's funny because I kind of putting that into it because you realize that a lot of heavy stuff or a lot of anxious stuff really people just do not want that. Even though and they describe it as a negative, which is funny, where they're like, I was just so anxious, I just hated it. I'm like, well, that they did their job. That was they did exactly what they wanted to do was make you anxious and feel that. So I can't ever hit you for the negative for that. But it's funny thinking that and thinking about this too. It's like it hits you hard, but I like that. I like that something breaks through that and gets you to that point where you can feel that. And some people are going to want to feel that, obviously. That's a very hard feeling to own up to. But the fact that they can reach into you and do that and be out in 2 hours and tell all these stories, as you guys can see on the screen, all these stories, and everything that happened. And a lot of these are pretty fucked up. But when you come out of it, and you're still like, wow, that was awesome. And you can still feel okay.
Can't wait to see the next one. And then that happens, and you're like, I mean, there's even characters like don't even get a story, like Sanja, who's the husband of Dawn. I'm like, okay, well, he's not even a Finch. He should be okay. You find out he's died. I'm like, fine, everybody's just dying in this game. Where's the life?
The kid.
Where it at? What kid? He's dead too, probably. Watch.
Probably.
Second game's gonna come out, and he's just like, I made this for my daughter or whatever. Just and then he dies of cancer or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, next one better be like some happy shit. Their next game better be happy.
No,
or I won't be sad. You're happy or sad. They better make like something that either makes me happy or a different emotion, angry, anything.
All right,
confused.
But you're glad you picked it, obviously.
Oh yeah. If we were talking about best games of 2017, it would probably be in my top 3. I loved it. I really did. 2017, I can't think of what came out in 2017 besides this. Obviously, was 2017 like a weak year?
Silent Hill.
What? Yeah, we know how. Yeah, on Wii is your thing. Well, yeah, I guess so. Legend of
Let's see,
Zelda,
there
of
was
course.
Middle Earth,
No,
Shadow
that was a
War,
good year.
Road
No, that was a good
Redemption.
year. That was a good year. That was a good year.
And that's why I
Ooh.
didn't
All right,
say.
top 5.
Hey, but
Oh, look,
look,
it's
best
a
narrative
Finch. One best narrative. There you go.
over Hellblade too. That ooh.
Eat a
Nier?
dick. And Nier. And
And
Wolfenstein 2.
and Horizon.
And that stupid robot game. Actually, that could go with Nier or Horizon. The stupid robot game. I could go with Wolfenstein 2 also. A lot of robots.
Was that a weak year? Oh wait, hold on. That was,
I
good
couldn't
year.
think of anything because my brain's slow. But well, to be fair, there's like 4 amazing games here that I played at least. I know Persona 5 is amazing. I haven't played it.
That was Cuphead year. Cuphead was one of my ones
Yeah,
I wanted to put in for games gone by, but I feel like that's gonna be a little bit too much for us. But it's still on my list of potentials I might want to do.
I mean, I guess we could try it.
I've always said that Cuphead's the one game that I do not want to play.
Yeah.
I just do not want it to end. I want to know that there's more for me. around.
Well, there's DLC coming, so you should finish this.
So I'm probably gonna
And not play the DLC.
Dude, what a good.
But yeah,
year
it would
for-
be my
look-
top 5.
Look at
It'd be my-
these independent games. Is your Cuphead, Hellblade, Night in the Woods, Pyre, and Edith Finch. That was a good year for indies.
And of course, I would say Edith Finch should have won at this point. I played Cuphead. I didn't finish it.
I gotta play Hellblade and Night
I love
in the Woods.
Yeah, I gotta play Hellblade.
Can we look at the game of the year again? Because pretty much everything in game of the year besides Persona 5 and Horizon.
PUBG.
So just oh shit, never mind. I didn't know Battlegrounds was in there. I thought Nier was in there. Okay, just Zelda and Mario then.
That
Anyway.
was a year that PUBG was fucking like everywhere.
Yeah,
though.
and
So
now
I get
now
that.
it's dead. Okay, not even enough people to play one game. Sad.
Dude, if they swapped PUBG with Cuphead, that would have been. Whew.
Resident Evil 7 came out that year. Resident Evil 7's 3 years old. Oh my god, I'm gonna die soon.
You're gonna be a Finch.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If I was a Finch, I would have died about 20 years ago at this point.
Don't forget, Stardew Valley came out too on Switch.
Well, yeah, it came
On
out.
Switch. Doki Doki was also 2017.
Oh god, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Tekken 7.
Wow.
Well, that's for me, baby.
That's for you guys.
There.
Injustice 2, though. Oh, Injustice 2 though, game of the year for fighting at least. Yeah, okay. So top 5 somewhere. I'd say
Gucci
5.
and Yoshi's Woolly World.
Well, Wolfenstein. All right, this is my top 5. I'm gonna make a top 5 right here for 2017, real quick. Number 1, the game, Zelda. Number 2, Mario. Number 3, Wolfenstein 2. Number 4, Resident Evil 7. Number 5, What Remains of Edith Finch.
And wait till
That's
you
probably
play
gonna change
Wait till
because
you
I
play
don't.
Persona 5.
Oh yeah. Well, that'll be the Royal Edition, so that counts for this year.
Yeah, so
I think count for 2017 anymore. But that's from what I see here. Is there anything else? Pray no. Nier I didn't finish, so I can't. I'm
Nier's
good.
gonna be
I think
a
I'm
game
good.
to play eventually.
Good. So that's my top 5 for 2017. Never did one. So there you go. Now I did. Most anticipated game, Last of Us Part 2. 3 years later, it's coming out finally. Yeah. Anyway, hey, look, Faker won. I always pick Faker. Good guy.
Cloud9
Don't-
when it wasn't there last year.
All
All right.
right. So that is What Remains of Edith Finch. If you haven't played it before, you just got spoiled, bro. Sorry. Oops. By the way, spoilers. Did we mention that?
No, we didn't.
I mentioned it as a
I'll
book
put-
club, which is
I'll
the
put
assumption that you play
spoilers.
these.
I'll still put spoilers for this one, especially because I guess Doki Doki also, but I feel like we said spoilers before that, just in case.
People
there's
should
one
know.
guy.
I think if you say book club and you're discussing the game, that.
Well, why is it people skip? Because people could skip that, like, oh, this is the intro. I'm gonna skip.
This could be their
Oh,
first
this guy's
time.
doing this. I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that. I want to see them do this. Oh no, they did that. I didn't play this game yet. Why did I click this video at all?
God, what a
This
good
video is
year.
almost as long as the game.
I'm just looking at 2017. Goddamn, that was a fucking good year.
That was a good year. That was a good year.
It's always, isn't it always the ones with 7 at the end of the year is always really good. 2007 was really good because it had BioShock, Halo, Orange Box.
Mass Effect 1, which some people love. Uncharted 1.
Which some people.
The beginning of a lot of great series. BioShock, Uncharted, Mass Effect. That's 3. That's pretty good.
TF2.
Wait, what?
TF2, Portal.
TF2? That's not the beginning of a series, but Portal. I guess TF2 is kind of the beginning of a series because the first game's completely different. But it can't be a series because they still have to make a fucking third one.
So once again, we're gonna have Charles. Can't even say it sometimes.
Charles Barkley, everything with an engine.
I know. It just after these games, it's hard to fucking know that. And
I know, it's
Charles
really
Barkley, shut up and jam Gaiden.
What Remains of Edith Finch, Inside, God of War, Undertale.
Let's see.
Doki
Charles
Doki
Barkley,
Literature
Shut
Club.
Up and Jam Guy.
Yeah, shut up and jam. Well, this is our first mainly comedy game. I guess Undertale. Shit. All right. Well, first one in a little while.
Sans Undertale's hilarious, dude.
Well, What Remains of Edith Finch was pretty funny. See how that kid flew?
If you like dark humor.
Yeah. If you like, no, just like comedy. That's how messed up I am. This just looked like regular comedy.
I still like how messed up we are. We're like, hey, what's a really good comedy? Oh, Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Well, no. That I don't care what anybody says. That's a fucking comedy.
We need to make
dark
David
comedy.
watch. David needs to watch. David loves dark comedy. He would love. You know, David, you want to watch that movie with us?
Sure.
I've been wanting to watch that recently.
That's our.
It's our movies gone by.
That's our St. Patrick's Day movie.
Dude, you know what? If we watch that, if you want to watch that with Kyle too, you're gonna have a great
Valentine's Day. I forgot that's 2 days.
Adrian is not single,
So
so he's probably got plans. He's a good
but if
boyfriend.
he watches that movie with his girlfriend, he will be. So
No, because she before we started dating, she had a date, and the guy made her watch Hereditary, and she was like, "Why?"
Hereditary's great.
See, he should have did what I did, where it's you date her and then you take her to Midsummer after that.
Yeah. Well, Midsummer's a little bit more palatable.
There's always something happening with a fucked up head in there.
He likes.
Shouts to Ari Aster.
I don't want to say he likes head.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to besmirch him just in case he
I thought
does.
you were gonna say bestow.
I'm trying to say like big words. Bestow.
All right, that's that.
Yeah, I'm in a literary mood.
So yeah, Charles Barkley Shop and Jam is happening on our episode on the 27th. We're gonna do this secret episode that we're gonna announce on that, which is coming on the 12th, and then yeah, once again, Watch Dogs 2. When I tell you
It's
guys
for
ahead
Red
of
Dead
time,
Redemption 2.
yeah, I'm making him do
Jesus
that.
Christ.
Can you imagine I gave him 2 weeks to do?
You're fucked.
And yeah, and Watch Dogs 2 again, I'm giving a big heads up because there is that game we calculated about split the difference with main and everything is about 25 hours to complete everything, so giving you proper time to finish that game. A lot of stuff to do in there.
I have to start in the beginning of the month because there ain't no fucking way I'm playing it when Doom comes out. That game can blow.
Why don't you start it now?
My dad, because I'm not playing it. Done.
Why don't you just start it now?
With Doom Eternal, I fucking wish I could.
All right.
Well, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII now, and I have to play Jam Gaiden or whatever.
All right, we're
Charles
out.
Barkley, shut up and jam.
All right. What Remains of Edith Finch? Go play it. It's out in your theater.